Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about the orb nerfs on the Crucifix on the PvE aspect of the game. So as many of you probably know, since it's already been a day, Crucifix got gutted. And it's kind of funny because a lot of people didn't expect that, because from the patch notes it read like the PvE part didn't get affected. What changed was on the crossbow part for the skill of the detonation mark. Now it's capped at 50,000 of the base damage, and looks like there's some really weird calculations which really capped and reduced the damage that this was doing. That made a lot of the damage part from the crossbow, because the crossbow is mostly responsible for three things. One, mana sustain. Two, reset of the skills. And three, detonation mark to do the damage aspect of it. But now they basically nerfed really hard the detonation mark, and the other two, the selfless already had small nerf, and that's about it, right, for the PvE aspect. And on the orb, what changed was the stellar dash got nerfed on the base, on the orb damage, on the satellite damage. What happened though was it got the nerf on 50% for the stellar dash and the orb, but then it got a buff of 100% versus mobs. That means for the normal dash and for the orb dash, it's gonna do the same damage as before, but for the satellite, even though it does increase the damage as well compared to before, you can see here 100%, since the damage actually got chopped by 75%, it went to 25% of the current damage. Even if you double it, that's 50% damage only, which means you lost half of your DPS. And this, in case you don't know, is the thing that makes your damage on the orb go insanely high. So they gutted the satellite for the group play of the crossbow orb. Does that mean crossbow orb is dead? I'm gonna be straight up here. No, crossbow orb is still very strong. It still does a lot of damage. It's a very solid PvE composition, but it's just that it's not the first top on like doing 3 to 4 times the damage of every other weapon in the game. Basically, what happens, did it get gutted? Yes. Is it in a bad position? No, it's in a fair position to the game. It's probably still one of the best weapons when you're fully invested. Just like all the other weapons, when you're fully invested, you can do decent amount of damage. Except melees. Melees are mostly gutted. But yeah. So on this video, I wanted to cover this, and I want to cover your options. I have already tried testing a little bit of it. As you can see, my build is not ideal. I never finished the orb. I never finished the crossbow for it. It's gonna probably be left like that forever now. But with this, I was already doing like 3 times the damage of any other class, even though I was on 7,800 gear score on other classes. But what I had was a blood set, right? Because I used to do PvP, and that's what amplified my damage here. I tested today on the first boss with it. I got rank 15, I think. I did almost 2%, 1.5%. But I had a bow in my party, and that's a big condition of this, having a bow in your party. And now with everyone doing less damage, everything lasts way longer. And if you don't have a proper setup to sustain your mana, even with the skill to generate mana, you're gonna get oomph really quick and run out of resources, which is gonna kill your burst and kill your class. So the other thing I did was start testing again with Invocator, because I have my Invocator, right? And I tested 2 sets, one using the blood, which was the same one as my Crucifix. I got a very similar position, was very close, around 2% on the boss of the afternoon. And at the night boss, I decided to try to change a little bit to make it have the sacred set to be set for the extra curse damage, and you use Spectral for the crit damage. And I managed to get a higher position. I did like 2.5 to 3% if I'm not mistaken, and I got like 5th or 7th. Be aware that I don't have the proper setup, my E.Tevent's not evolved, so this not even, there's a lot of things that are not traded here. This is just a basic setup that I threw with things that I had, so you can definitely improve on it. This is just to tell you like what's the situation on Crucifix and how it can compare to, for example, Invocator using a legendary one with E.Tevent. And I want to talk to you about the options that you have. So let's move to this graph here. Look at that, I prepared that just for you. So if you have an Expo Orb fully invested, a proper build for top tier PvE, you already had like legendary orb, right? Because that's what people were using. With everything set, you still should keep using Crucifix. Keep using that because it's in a fine position. It still does a lot of damage. The thing that you might start struggling though if you're using Crucifix is very demanding on having a bow on your party to reset and keep the flow of DPS going from the orb. So it is a dependent class. It has bad sustain when it comes to like HP and mana overall. You can go around it with certain specializations and even weapons, but compared to certain other weapons, it's definitely not ideal. So it has some flaws. If you have a good Expo, you're mostly invested in the Expo part. There are some swaps that you can do. You can swap to one Expo, sorry, which is really strong. It's a Fury class, but the problem is the one got nerfed on the cap of it, which doesn't affect in the rotation, to be honest, that much. And the damage of the detonation mark got nerfed, so this is a significant nerf, but it still is a viable weapon. The problem here is you're gonna probably need an heroic one with E.Tevent or Deckman, so there is some conditions to make this class work. The other one that I didn't see anyone talking about, but was very popular before the whole fever of Fury of Crucifix, Staff Expo was very popular, was starting to get mega popular, and with the buffs on staff damage, I don't see why Staff Expo would not go back to being popular. It just means you're going to spend staff skills, reset with the Expo, do some damage with Detonation Bark, and keep doing your main damage with the staff. So if you have a Deluzhnoa or proper legendary staff, this is mega ideal as well. And this was one class a lot of PvEers would put in high tier, which was the X-Bolt Dagger, because just through pure damage and interactions with the dagger, right? But with the detonation mark getting a big nerf, I feel like this is the least viable one. I don't know much about the PvE parts of this, so I'm not gonna take it out of the list, but just be aware that this is probably not the same way that was like before the Crucifix wave. I would suggest sticking mostly to the Staff Expo and one Expo. Or if you want to swap the Expo and keep the orb in case you have made an heroic / legendary orb, you can go to one orb. It is not just a healer class. You can do significant damage DPS with it, but then again, the one aspect, while it's less important than the Expo part, you're still gonna want to have E.Tevent here or Deckman. You know, Deckman is not really viable if you're gonna use the heroic one. You want to have one that has good base damage, and Deckman is way too low. So the good part is, since most of the damage that you do is over the interactions of the orb, the one is mostly just to buff the orb damage, if I'm not entirely mistaken from this. So it doesn't matter that much, but it does affect the lack of E.Tevent damage in case you don't have it. The other thing you can do is just go Enigma, which is the staff orb. It's doing plenty fine PvE. It's like staff just got buffed, so even if orb got nerfed, you still have the benefits of the staff. Overall mega solid weapon. If you don't care, for example, you're in my position, right? Similar to my position, and you had X-Bow Orb, right? And you didn't upgrade those or whatever, you can just swap to other classes like Bow Staff. It's gonna be doing just fine. And I forgot to include Bow 1. Give me a second here. Staff 1. I don't know why I didn't do that. Okay, now it's here. So the options you have for range / magic, which is usually easier to play, is gonna be Liberator with Bow Staff. It has good self-sustain, it has resets for the meteors, it has good damage on the staff. Or one staff has the cursed part to do damage if you have the E.Tevent or Deckman, you know, heroic / legendary. Has the staff to do damage, has really good DPS synergy overall. It has really good sustain that you can swap on the go if you need. And the last option, in case you're playing something more melee or you want to swap to something more melee, and this can even be played in PvP, Of course, not the same build, but you can play it on PvP. Is the GS Spear, the Gladiator. It's very popular because it can be a good field for many skills, buffs, defense breaks in the PvE aspect. Overall, it also not just do that, but it also do a lot of damage. It's a very good class for multiple content, so like solo playing as well. It's a very decent class, so I just wanted to mention a melee class in case you want to look for it. But I think this covers everything. I would say if you don't have E.Tevent or Heroic one with Deckman, skip those ones. They're probably not worth of your time. I would suggest looking for something with more of a staff. So like I said here, staff X-Bow, staff Arb, staff Bow. The X-Bow Dagger, I don't know if it's good with the Mark being nerfed. I imagine it's not. I'm even gonna remove from here. And finally, if you didn't fully upgrade anything and you still have time and you want to play something melee, go for Gladiator. That's about it. I hope this video solves or helps at least you to find a path that you can follow from the nerf in case you are struggling with damage or feeling like you're not at a good point enough in the game to keep doing damage, like with the Crucifix compared to the Crucifix. I suggest looking into those options. They are all decently solid. Some of those will require way more investment than others, but should be an easy swap. That's about it. Thank you for watching. See ya.